The NFL draft is just over 1 week away, and excitement in the city of brotherly love is about to hit new heights. So with that in mind, we're going to take some time over the next 7 days to focus on each round that the Eagles currently have a draft pick in, and pick out 5 targets who are likely to be picked up by the team on draft night, or at least those who should be very heavily showing up on Howie Roseman's radar. So without further ado, we're going to kick things off with round number 1, where the Eagles, of course, currently have the 25th overall pick. Before we get started though, guys, make sure you leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this kind of content. We want to build the biggest Philadelphia sports community that we can, and we need your help to do it. You can get daily coverage from your favourite Philadelphia sports teams at phillysportsnetwork.com. We're going to kick things off with my favourite linebacker not named Blake Cashman in this year's draft, and that's Berst Jr. Now, the Eagles have not yet met with a linebacker who's projected to go on day 1 of the NFL draft. Is that a smokescreen? I don't know, but the bottom line is that even though the Eagles run plenty of big nickel and dime formations where the need for that third starting linebacker is diminishing, they have lost Jordan Hicks this offseason, and while Cameron Hill, Nate Jerry, and even a returning Paul Warrilow from injury do bolster that unit, it will lack that explosiveness and consistency that Hicks brought to the table. The Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year from 2018 had 66 tackles, 8.5 for a loss, and 4.5 sacks to his name, and with a scintillating 4.43 second 40-yard dash time, Berst is a guy that will get sideline to sideline, is not afraid to wrap up ball carriers, and is just an absolute menace wherever he lines up. The Eagles have their franchise piece in Nigel Bradham, and Berst will be a long-term solution who could start right away as a polished run defender, complementing Bradham's skill set and adding some much needed versatility to a linebacker spot that has put such an emphasis on that very trait in recent years. He's quick at processing, has got extremely concise footwork, and will burst to the ball at the speed of sound. This should be a home run hit for the Eagles. There's very little bust potential with this sort of move, and if you're looking for a linebacker that's just going to shore up that position and finally tick off the only real position of need that has not yet been addressed this offseason, then Berst Jr. is going to be the place to go. Second on this list is a draft crush for many, and that man is Florida safety Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. At just 21 years old, you can already assume he's got a high ceiling, but when you take into account his cornerbacking traits and versatility, it gets to a whole new level. This is a 2-year starter that can play single high, nickel, or down in the box and get down and dirty. In fact, during that 2-year stint, he only allowed 43 receptions for 405 yards, 1 touchdown, he had 4 interceptions and 9 pass breakups. But if that doesn't get you salivating, then his career 4 sacks and 15.5 tackles for a loss certainly will. He had a career high 27 run stops in 2018. This is as versatile defender as you will find in this draft class. If you stick him in man coverage in the slot, he has got the hips and the quick feet to mirror and match with ease. If you want him single high over the top, he's got the leadership abilities. After talking to a source today, it's CGJ who the Eagles are besotted with out of this year's safety class. That doesn't mean they're going to draft him, but it means if he's on the board at 25, there is a very high chance he won't be there by the time pick 26 rolls around. It's so very difficult these days to find a safety that is effective in run defense, can be just as poignant at the point of the catch, and then hit like a freight train. Gardner-Johnson does it all. And when you look at the fact the Eagles have used a third safety in over 60% of defensive snaps in their last 2 years, and the fact that Andrew Sendejo has been brought in to almost replace Corey Graham, I think Gardner-Johnson would be the perfect fit to step up, be the developmental piece maybe for 1 year, or even win that spot off of Sendejo, and then you'll have a back tandem of McLeod and Gardner-Johnson who will complement each other also very well, while Malcolm Jenkins sweeps up underneath. Our third entrant on this list is Christian Wilkins, and is no stranger to this channel or this website by now. 6'4", 300-pound defensive tackle out of Clemson, who is just a complete monster in every sense of the word. And the big knock on him is that he lacks some of the length that you'd expect from a prototypical defensive tackle, and that's fine. But a disadvantage is one thing, it's another if you can't compensate for it in other areas, and Wilkins compensates and then some. This is a match made in heaven. He's a ridiculous athlete athlete who naturally lines up at a 3-tech spot and has an abundance of pass rushing moves at his disposal already. He leaps off the ball, doesn't take plays off, and you often find him on the sideline trying to track down a running back. But where this really comes to life for the Eagles is his aggression and his pursuit. He has got tunnel vision and he'll stay going to the quarterback. And while that can be a weakness in college, if you think about this Jim Schwartz defense, what it requires and how many times you want to see defensive tackles finish plays and not come off the ball on screens to attack running backs or on play actions and RPOs, they want to see defensive tackles finish. Wilkins finished with the second highest pressure percentage among this year's defensive tackles, and the other aspect of this, of course, is depth. It was the Achilles heel of this Eagles pass rush last year. They missed the services of Bo Allen and Destiny Vio, who combined for over 60% of snaps in 2017. So not only did they miss Jernigan, but they missed the depth, that reliability that Allen and Vio brought to the table. So you put Wilkins in behind or alongside Malik Jackson, and then what you've got is 3 defensive tackles who are starting level potential, who can all penetrate and get to the backfield and give offensive line nightmares. Wilkins has proved himself against the SEC's best. He's done it on the big stages, and there is no reason he can't continue that train of dominance in a 4-3 scheme that is just setting him up to thrive like he never has before. At the minute, depending on whose scout reports you read or who big boards you're looking at, there is a tear down the middle between Jawan Taylor and Cody Ford, and if it's between the two at 25 for the Eagles, I think it's Oklahoma's 1-year starter that's gonna get selected. It's a little bit smaller at 6'4", 346 pounds, and is he going to be a starting left tackle? I don't think so. Ford is a guy who's got the versatility to move inside and maybe best suited to a starting guard. He has got a ridiculous blend of size, athleticism and power, and although he's got some happy feet right now, that can be cleaned up by Jeff Stoutland. Ford is insanely mobile, and you'll see him get off blocks, get onto the second level, and have no problem expressing that athleticism. If we look into the future of this Eagles offensive line, where Jason Kelce may not be around forever, where Sayamalo may be asked to move to centre, it's going to open a starting left guard spot. If it doesn't, there's always a chance he can hang his hat at left tackle, and then you're competing with Halapulavati Vaitai and Jordan Mailata, something that's only going to increase competition. Behind the elite tandem of Johnson and Peters at the bookend, there aren't many serviceable replacements. Ford would be exactly that. This other aspect where he was asked to move around a lot during his time at Oklahoma, be a powerful run defender, and what the Eagles offensive line needs is some grit and some anger up front when they're blowing up these run games up the middle. And if it's the interior they want to go, if they want to run between the tackles, this is someone that will jolt out of his stance, keep his pad level nice and even, and of course bring the Eagles a scrappy interior level of nastiness, which they may not have right now in Sayamalo at left guard. Finally, we're going to take a look at AJ Brown. The Eagles have been meeting with a flurry of what are called big slot receivers. Think of Jordan Matthews, just maybe a little bit more muscly, and that is kind of what we're looking at with AJ Brown. But there was a very legitimate conversation perhaps a year ago that he was going to be the #1 receiver of that ridiculous Ole Miss trio, and in fact last year he broke his own school record with 1,320 yards on 85 receptions and 6 touchdowns to his name. 6 foot, 226 pounds, Brown is going to be a very physical receiver in the slot, and if we look at what the team got out of Jordan Matthews, blend that with a kind of Golden Tate replacement scheme. The Eagles are going to currently pay Nelson Aguilar $9 million this year, and it's not really believed by many that he's going to be around long after that. Now, Brown's not a speed demon like Nelson Aguilar. He's not going to be as versatile as Golden Tate, but he does have significant yak potential. He can gash a defense underneath once the ball is in his hands, and with a very firm base, decisive route running, he's got the physical traits needed to force defenders into really tight spots where they're going to miss tackles or just shrug off due to his very girthy frame. He's smooth in his footwork and can blend through most intermediate routes with ease, but there are some slight concerns with consistency. Drops have been an occasional issue, and it's more the mental aspect than it is the physical. He's got all of the physical tools you could ever want, including a very nice catch radius as well. He's built for the NFL level. When you look back at that tape, especially in his senior year, he didn't really face a lot of man or press coverage looks. In off coverage, he's going to beat you all day long. He's going to stop on a dime, make that reception, and then drive for the yards after the catch. But if we're going to look at expanding that route tree, getting him to kind of create separation from the line of scrimmage, again, he's got the tools to do do it. This is going to be a contrasting skill set to what we see in Nelson Aguilar, and if I'm honest, I'm all for it for 1 year at least. On one hand, you've got Nelson Aguilar, who is, in my opinion, the crispest route runner on the team. On the other, you have got this bully of a physical specimen that has got just this absolute brutish nature about him, who can drive his way through the stem of a route and then break on the spot to haul in a pass. If the Eagles wide receiving corps and the new wide receiver coach can get the most out of him, can maybe hammer away at this a little bit and carve this fine statue, then there could be a very different type of slot receiver making his way into the starting lineup in 2020. I think taking AJ Brown at 25 could be a safe decision and one that is a long-term move. It won't help their chances to win today, but from 2020 onward, you could be looking at a lineup that includes Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, and AJ Brown. That, my friends, a very filthy skill position makeup. But who do you want the Philadelphia Eagles to take at 25? Are they going to trade up? Are some of these players unattainable? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. We're going to have an exclusive draft stream as well here on the Philly Sports Network YouTube channel, so you can watch it with us throughout the weekend. You can follow me on Twitter at LiamJenkins21, and until next time where we take a look at 5 targets for the Eagles to take a look at in round number 2, stay locked into PhillySportsNetwork.com and of course the Philly Sports Network YouTube channel.